Hello everyone, I'm Shruti Vijayargi from BISP Solution. In Excel Financial Functions category, there comes a price functions. In my previous video, I discussed price, price disk and price mat function, and in this video, I'm going to explain odd F price, odd L price and table price. So the first function for which I am talking about is odd F price, which means odd first period. Here F means first period, and which is used for calculating the price of a security with an odd first period. The bond-related formulas and functions assumes that every period is the same length. For example, the coupon payments occur 3, 6 or 12 months. Some bonds have irregular first or last periods where the payment dates don't fit any of those patterns. So Excel includes a set of functions you can use to evaluate these securities. In this video, I will show you how to calculate the price for a security that has an odd or unusual first period. So the odd F price function requires 9 bits of information. The first argument for our function is the settlement date, that is the date that you take possession of the security. Next we have the maturity date, and that is the date of the investment where all monies are due to you. Then the issue date, and that is the date that the security was initiated, and again that can be different from the date you take possession of it. Then we have the first coupon date, and that is the first day that interest is paid to you, the bondholder. And then we have the coupon percentage, and that is the amount of money paid based on your investment. Then the payment yield, and that is the amount that your investment appreciates over year. Then we have the redemption value, and the redemption value is the amount of money you get for the security for $100 of face value. Next we have the frequency, and that is the number of coupons paid per year. So that can be either annually, which would be 1, semi-annually, which is 2, and quarterly, which is 4. And then finally we have basis. Basis is the way that how you count the number of days in a month and a year. So let's look around the example. I have an example of odd F price function. Here's the data. The first one is the security date. Next is the maturity date. Next issue date. First coupon date. Percent coupon rate. Percent yield. Redemption value and frequency. Here's 2, which means semi-annual, and 1 actual by actual basis, that means 365 days in a February, including 28 days for a non-leap year and 29 days for a leap year. So here we calculate odd F price, selecting the cell, type an equal sign, select the function odd F price, and then pass the references of all the arguments. The first one is the settlement date, then putting comma, the maturity date, comma, issue date, comma, first coupon date, comma, rate, comma, yield, comma, redemption value, comma, frequency and basis. And so now I will type a right parenthesis to close out the function and press tab. When I do, we see that the price for this security should be $113.60. So when you want to calculate the price of a bond with an odd or unusual first period, we use the odd F price function. The next function I am talking about is the odd L price function, and it is used for calculating the price of a security with an odd last period. Here L is for last period. The bond-related formulas and functions assumes that every period is of the same length. Some bonds have irregular first or last periods, though, which means that the payment dates don't fit any of those patterns. For those securities, Excel includes a set of functions you can use to evaluate them. In this video, I will show you how to calculate the price for security with an odd, meaning unusual, last period. For this calculating, we need to know the following items. The first one is the settlement date, and that is the date that you purchase and gain control of the security. Next is the security maturity date, that is the last day of the investment and the day that all proceeds and returns of principal are due to you. Then we have the last coupon date, that is the last time period is paid. Then you have the coupon interest rate, that's the amount of money you get for each payment every time you paid interest. Then you have the annual yield as the interest rate applied to your principal. Then the redemption value is the amount of money you get back per $100 face value. For the bonds, it's almost always going to be 100. Next we have the frequency, and frequency is the number of coupons that you receive per year. That can either be one for annual, for semi-annual, it can be two, and for quarterly. Then finally there is a basis. Basis refers how to you count number of days and month in a year. So now look around the example of Odell price function. Here's the data. This is the settlement date. Next we have maturity date. Next we have last interest date or last coupon date. Next we have percent coupon. Next we have yield value, yield percentage. Next we have redemption value. Next we have frequency. Here's two, which means semi-annual, and zero basis. In this case, we are using basis number zero assumes all month with 30 days long and that there is 360-day year. So now all the information in place, we can calculate the price. Click on the cell, type an equal sign, and then type the name of the function, which is odd L price. So that means odd L for last. Now passes the references of all the arguments. First one is the settlement date, then putting comma, maturity date, comma, last interest date, comma, rate, comma, yield, comma, redemption value, comma, frequency, and comma, basis. Then type a right parenthesis to close out the function. Make sure all my references line up and press tab. When I do, I see that price for the security should be 99.88 per $100 face value. So when you want to calculate the price of a bond with an odd, meaning unusual, last period, use the odd L price function. The next function for which I am talking about is the T-bill price function, and this function is used for calculating the price for a treasury bill. When you evaluate a treasury bill, which is usually called a T-bill, you should determine the fair market value of the investment. In Excel, you can use the T-bill price function to find that value. To find the price of a T-bill, you need to know these three separate things. The first is the settlement date, and the settlement date is the date that you take possession of the investment. Then you have the maturity date, and that is the date that the interest plus your original principal is due. And then finally you have the discount rate, which is the annual percentage rate assigned to the investment. So let's look around the example. Here's the T-bill price function. Here's the settlement date, maturity date, and percent discount rate. So to find the fair market price of that investment, you can click on the cell, type an equal sign, and then type the name of the function, which is T-bill price function, and pass the references of all the arguments. First one is the settlement date, next the maturity date, and next discount. Put the right parenthesis. If everything is right, then enter. So it should be the T-bill price for this investment, 98.45. So this function returns the price per $100 face value for a treasury bill. So if you understand everything, then thumbs up my video, and if you have any queries, you can comment me. Thank you.